One of the most horrific war crimes in history saw hundreds of thousands of civilians lose their lives in and around the city of Nanking. In 1937, the Japanese army launched a brutal attack on the city, committing numerous atrocities. Along with widespread destruction, looting, and violence, thousands of people were executed along the riverbanks, and massacres took place across the city. On their way to Nanking, war crimes were also committed, including a gruesome contest between two Japanese officers to see who could kill 100 people faster using a sword. Tragically, women and children were also among the victims. A former Japanese soldier later recounted how captured men were taken behind houses and executed with bayonets and knives, while women and children were confined, mistreated, and ultimately killed. To erase any evidence, entire homes were set on fire, leaving nothing behind. Despite the scale of these crimes, very few individuals were held accountable. However, after World War II, two specific reprisal executions took place in Nanking, witnessed by thousands of survivors who had endured immense suffering. Nanking held strategic importance for the Japanese military, and by December 1937, the city was under attack. The Japanese forces quickly overpowered defenses and began their campaign of destruction. Many captured Chinese soldiers were executed immediately, along with innocent civilians who were falsely accused of being combatants. Women and children were subjected to unspeakable violence. One eyewitness described the scene, stating that schools were destroyed, civilians were killed, and women were assaulted. Even those who sought protection from international organizations were taken away and never seen again. Another former Japanese soldier detailed the chaos, recalling an incident where he struggled to execute a farmer, resulting in a horrific and drawn-out death. He explained that they had been taught to see themselves as superior and viewed others with contempt. The violence was relentless, and many women were killed after being assaulted. A surgeon working at a hospital in Nanking described the horrors he witnessed, including civilians being attacked without warning and entire families being murdered. One young boy was stabbed multiple times but miraculously survived, despite severe injuries. A man overseeing the city's safety zone wrote about a fallen soldier whose body remained unburied despite repeated pleas to the authorities. He expressed deep frustration, highlighting the contradiction between Japan's desire for global recognition and the brutality displayed by their forces. These were just some of the many testimonies describing the suffering endured by the people of Nanking. Estimates suggest around 200,000 civilians were killed, though some believe the number is even higher. Thousands more were executed as prisoners of war or subjected to extreme mistreatment. After Japan's surrender in World War II, some of the officers responsible for these crimes were put on trial. General Iwane Matsui, for example, was executed in 1948 for his role in the atrocities. Many officers were held accountable based on the principle that commanders were responsible for their soldiers' actions. However, two specific executions took place in Nanking, serving as a rare moment of justice for the survivors. These men were brought back to the city where their crimes had taken place, to face the consequences in front of thousands of people. General Hisao Tani commanded many of the forces responsible for the atrocities in Nanking. Another war criminal, Hiroshi Matsumoto, was feared by locals and was known for his ruthless actions. Both men were among the few brought back to Nanking to face execution. On April 26, 1947, General Tani was led to an open area outside the city's south gate. A massive crowd had gathered to witness the event. He was not tied to a post but was held in place by executioners. As he knelt, he was shot in the back of the head, bringing a swift end to his life. Hiroshi Matsumoto faced a similar fate on June 11, 1946. Thousands gathered to watch as he was blindfolded and stood with his hands tied behind his back. A Chinese executioner, possibly a soldier or local who had suffered during the occupation, fired a single shot at close range, killing Matsumoto instantly. These executions were among the few moments where survivors of the Nanking massacre witnessed direct consequences for those responsible. Despite the immense suffering caused by the Japanese forces in Nanking, these executions represented only a small measure of justice. Many high-ranking officers and government officials were tried and executed elsewhere, away from the city where their crimes had occurred. Unlike those sentenced in distant prisons, the executions in Nanking allowed survivors to witness a form of justice firsthand. While the pain and trauma could never be undone, these moments served as a reminder that some level of accountability was sought after World War II. Thank you for watching. To support our channel, please consider subscribing. We appreciate your time and interest in uncovering history's forgotten stories.